Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something huge, the global market for mental wellness. I mean, this is an entire industry built on helping us feel better. And trust me, the numbers behind it, they're absolutely staggering.
But before we get into all the charts and data, let's just start with a really simple question. It's a question that millions of people all over the world are answering with their wallets every single day. And it's this: what is peace of mind worth?
Okay, so to really understand this market, we've got to be on the same page. What do we even mean when we say mental wellness? Well, according to the Global Wellness Institute, it's not just about not being sick. Think of it more like a resource you have inside you. It's this active thing you do, a process that helps you build up resilience, grow, and really flourish. It's about proactively taking care of your mind, not just fixing it when it's broken.
Okay, now for the fun part. Let's talk money. Because the amount people are spending to, flourish, it's just, wow, it's huge.
Get ready for this. In 2023 alone, we, the world, spent over $232 billion on mental wellness. Let that sink in. To put that into perspective, that's more than the entire GDP of a country like Portugal. Just unbelievable. And here's the kicker. It's not just a big market. It's a fast-growing one. We're talking an incredible rate. Since 2019, so right through the pandemic and everything after, it's been growing by almost 12% every single year. So, okay, that's a global number, right? Nearly $250 billion. But where is all this money actually coming from? When you start to break it down, the picture gets really, really interesting and pretty lopsided.
And check this out. What's absolutely striking here is how one region just dominates the whole thing. North America. I mean, look at that. It accounts for a massive 51% of the entire global market. That's more than the rest of the world's combined.
And when you look at it on a person-by-person basis, the difference is even more stark. I mean, the average person in North America is spending about $319 a year on this stuff. Now, compare that to Europe. It's just $54. And in the Asia-Pacific region, a mere $10. That disparity is just massive.
So the big takeaway? This market is incredibly concentrated. It's not just a regional story, you know? The United States is really the engine here, driving most of that spending. And get this, just 3 regions, North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific, they make up over 90% of the whole shebang.
Okay, so we know where the spending is happening. But now for the big question. What are people actually buying? What kind of stuff makes up this enormous market? Let's break it down.
It really boils down to 4 main categories. But honestly, 2 of them are the real heavy hitters. They completely dominate, making up more than 3/4 of every single dollar that's spent. So the biggest slice of the pie, clocking in at almost $92 billion, is this category they call senses, spaces, and sleep. And really, that's just a fancy way of saying it's the business of tweaking our personal environment, our homes, our bedrooms, to feel better, stress less, and, most of all, get a good night's sleep. And this covers a ton of different stuff. We're talking about everything from aromatherapy and those nice smelling home fragrances, to weighted blankets that help with anxiety, all the way to high-tech smart bedding and sleep gadgets. There are even services like sound baths and, you won't believe it, nap cafes. Right on its heels, and actually growing even faster, is the next huge category. It's an $84 billion market for what's called brain-boosting nutraceuticals and botanicals. Basically, this is everything we eat, drink, or swallow, hoping to improve our brain health and, just feel a little sharper. And man, this area has just exploded. The growth is wild. It's driven by all sorts of things, from your everyday over-the-counter supplements and functional foods to the massive booming legal market for things like CBD and THC, and even stuff like medicinal mushrooms. But okay, all this spending, right? All this incredible growth, it leads to a question. And it's a really complicated one, maybe even a little uncomfortable. It gets right to the heart of what this industry is all about. And it's interesting because the source material for this explainer points this out directly. There's this fundamental tension. It says, and I'm quoting here, that, quote, our collective mental distress cannot be consumed away through spending on mental wellness products, services, and modalities. This right here, this is what we're calling the mental wellness paradox. On one hand, you have this market that's just booming, growing like crazy at almost 12% a year. But on the other hand, you have the World Health Organization telling us that 1 in 8 people on the entire planet is struggling with a mental health issue. The lines are going in completely opposite directions.
So what gives? Why the disconnect? Well, the data suggests something really important. Maybe we're spending more money because we're feeling worse. It's a reaction, not necessarily a solution. And it makes sense, right? I mean, a weighted blanket isn't going to solve huge stressors like financial instability or climate anxiety. And this is a big one. The market can't measure all the free things that actually help, like just going for a walk in the park or connecting with friends and family.
And that leaves us with one final, really challenging question to think about. It's obvious people are looking for answers. They're spending a lot of money to find them. But if $250 billion can't buy us collective well-being, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What will?